What's good, everybody? So we have pre-market analysis. I'm sorry if the mic is making a lot of noise. I'm readjusting it. Hold on, I think I'm gonna have to close my door. Hold on. All right, so we're not going to start where EuroCAD only because I still have to do the breakdown, and then obviously price is still exactly where it was at last week. We formed the rejection towards this area of resistance that was also treated as support, and now price is having a push towards the downside. Not fully, but it's going, right? I still see price playing out towards our original targets at, if we adjust this, I want to say it was around 155,689 or 155,650, one of those two, but we're not going to break this down yet. So starting off, we have GBP NZD1. Let's actually move everything towards not ready yet like we do every week. All right, so starting on GBP NZD, you can obviously see the overall direction of the market is bearish due to price being in this bullish trend and then turning around and having the bearish break due to that, well, having a bullish to bearish flip that occurred right here. So once price did give us the break and retest of this zone, as you can see, we came back, retested this area of support, treated it as resistance, and had that break. But instead of continuing towards this bearish trend or in this bearish trend, price had a change of direction, pushing back up towards the bullish side of the market, getting above the zone, again treated as resistance when we are below, and then treated as support. So once price broke back above on the daily, we're now having a retest, which we can obviously see price is treating it as support. So right now I am looking for buys. The 4-hour time frame, however, have performed the breakout structure, and yeah, that's not going to work. So since the 4 hours out of sync and the daily is no longer, so the daily's bearish, like we know the correct trend is a bearish market. We are now getting back below this zone, which we were above. The 4-hour, however, is bearish, which is showing us the retest of that zone, and then the 1 hour is bearish as well. I actually like this for the continuation trend of this bearish trend. We might have opportunities on GBP NZD only because, like I said, the daily's bearish. We are getting back beneath the zone. I'm sorry, I thought we were above. We wasn't. We're back underneath. The 4 hours also bearish as well, which is amazing. That's what I want to see. We're having a retest of this daily zone. Zooming out, we can see this zone treated as resistance, clear as day, and then treated as support when price does break above. So this is a well-respected zone. As long as price can show rejection on the 1 hour time frame, have the retest of this 1 hour zone, which is around here, you can obviously see just this being the last break of structure in this bearish trend. So if price does show signs of rejection towards here, we will simply just wait for the 5 minutes to perform that bullish to bearish flip. After that is presented, find our entry, and then targeting these 1 hour lows. So this does look good for entries. Just continue to be patient with me and we'll see what happens. We'll put this as ready. Next, Euro JPY. We are in a bullish trend, you can see, due to the breakout of this structure, but we are back below this zone. That's okay because now price is at the higher low of this bullish trend and we are showing signs of rejection. So as long as price stays above here, we're still bullish, which is fine. The 4 hour has just broken back towards this bullish market. So you can obviously see the breakout structure happen around here. Price is now bullish. It looks like it's going back to have a retest of this daily zone and also possibly treat this as a retest of the left shoulder. The 1 hour is also in a bullish trend, but I have no structure where I can take this trade off of, right? The last structure point we have on the 1 hour time frame is around here, which obviously you can treat it, we'll see it was treated as support / resistance, but at the moment price is having the push back down. Don't get me wrong, you could take a trade from this daily zone at 162.17, but I want to have a cleaner setup. Right now this is clean but not the best in my eyes, so I simply will walk away. I'm not really interested, so we're gonna leave this there. Next, Euro AUD, I'm not really interested. You can see how price is bullish, but we're in no man's land right now, so I'm not going to pay it no mind. NZD USD, waiting for the breakout of this lower high or the breakout of this lower low, so we're still going to be patient. Next we have USD CAD. We have performed the breakout of these lows, going from bullish to now back bearish, which is good. The 4 hour time frame is also bearish, and you can see how we're attempting to form that pullback. If the daily time frame does form the pullback, I tell you guys all the time, I want to see a deeper push, but if we do start to form this pullback, as long as price does not give me some type of pullback that breaks back above the zone, because if we do break back above, this will possibly give a 4 hour break of structure around here, depending on how far price does push. And if that happens, we all know we look for the retest and trade the opposite way. But right now, price is looking good for sales. We have the daily bearish, 4-hour bearish, while the 4-hour is looking like it wants to have the retracement back towards this zone that is also treated as support. And if I look towards the left, we can see resistance. We just got to see what happens on the daily. Like I said, we got to allow the daily to form the retracement. I want to see a deeper retracement, but if price does form that deep retracement, the 4-hour will have that break of structure before we either have the continue towards the downside or the switch of direction and the continue towards the upside. So right now, USD CAD, we'll simply just wait on the daily time frame because that's what we have to see what plays out first. NZD USD we talked about. NZD JPY, we recently just broke out of that higher low, as you can see, going from bullish to bearish, but this is a little ugly when it comes down to the market. I'm not really interested. I'm not interested. I'm not going to break that down. So we're simply going to wait for either the continuation breakout of these lows or the switch of structure of those lower highs. GBP USD, we can see we have a breakout towards the upside, which is good. We simply are now waiting for the daily time frame to form the pullback, and as the daily forms that pullback, we can see how this possibly will be giving us the retest of this 4-hour structure point around here. But depending on how far price does form that pullback on the daily time frame, if it gets too far back below our zone, we know this will be presenting us with the break of structure on the 4-hour, which ultimately will push us out of sync. But if that does happen, if price does form that deep retracement on the daily time frame, one, we can see how this will be establishing some type of break back underneath this zone. Well, actually, that's not the zone I want to use. That's my 4-hour zone. My daily zone I want to use, being my recent break of structure, will be around here. So if the daily time frame does form this pullback and we do get back below this zone, I would simply wait for price to have the retracement back towards this area of interest, which will also be allowing us to have the break of structure on the 4-hour. As you can see, we can possibly see price either pull back towards this 4-hour break of structure or this daily break of structure. Either way, whichever one happens, we're both still good to look for sales. Why? Because the daily will be back underneath a strong area of interest, and then the 4-hour will be performing the break of structure from bullish to bearish, right? And if it happens, we'll get more in depth. Same thing that happened on EuroCAD, same thing is going on GBP USD if it takes place. So we can simply put this on waiting on the daily. Next, we have Euro NZD. We can see Euro NZD in this bearish to bullish flip due to the breakout of these lower highs. Price is forming the retracement, but price has broken back underneath this daily zone. 4-hour time frame, this actually looks good for a counter trend opportunity. We can see the 4-hour go from bullish to bearish due to those 4-hour breaks getting established around here. We simply want to see price have the pullback, one, towards the 4-hour break of structure, and then two, towards this daily zone, which is obviously getting treated as resistance and support when price either breaks above or stays below, right? And if that happens, we will simply see if the 1-hour can stay in sync, being in a bearish trend, on this 4-hour time frame. But one thing I do have to say, if this 4-hour does have a pullback towards this 4-hour breaker structure or even towards this daily zone, we have to be careful, because if that pullback gets too deep, we will be presenting the 1-hour with the breaker structure around here. So if the 1-hour gets out of sync with the 4-hour, my counter trend opportunity simply just goes away. So we'll have to be patient and see how price moves. So Euro NZD looks good for counter trend opportunities. Like I said, since we are breaking back below this daily zone, being an area of support / resistance, and we can clearly see that when price is below, it has a strong reaction as resistance, right? And then when price does break above, we don't really have any data showing price break above except for around here. And we can obviously see we had a strong push. Price then had the retracement, trying to have the rejection towards the zone. It had 1, 2, 3 taps back into this zone before performing the break back underneath. And like you all see, we have multiple rejections of resistance, and then we have a huge rejection wick towards the upside, and you can see the aftermath of price just falling once we got towards this area. So it was a well-respected zone. I am looking for counter trend opportunities. The daily's bullish, but we are, like we said, back below that zone. The 4 hour is bearish. We just have to be aware of what happens on the 1 hour time frame, because if this breakout structure happens, I'm simply no longer interested, because I want the 4 hour and the 1 hour to be in sync if the daily and the 4 hour are not overall in sync. So next we will have AUD. Is it NZD? No, we talked about NZD. Next, AUD JPY. Not really interested. You can see price is rejecting this recent higher low structure, but it's not really, it's not clean. I'm not really interested. We can leave this be. Euro GBP, it looks good. You can see how price was in this bullish trend. We marked off this zone. Price got back underneath this zone. That is a well-respected area. Treated it as resistance, and now we can see price having a continuation move towards the downside. So this would have been, this first rejection would have been opportunities, but the 4 hour time frame was simply out of sync, being in a bullish trend. If my daily is bullish and we are back underneath the zone, I simply want to see the 4 hour in the opposite trend. And in this moment, we were bullish, so we simply did not catch a position. Right now, either wait for the breakout of these highs or these lows so we can leave it. Odd CAD, I'm not really interested. Same thing. You can see how price did form the huge pullback towards the zone. That is a well-respected area. 4 hour time frame, we are bearish. Treating it as resistance, but the 1 hour time frame is simply out of sync. I'm not really interested. I don't have too much to say about this trade, because this is not anything I would trade as of right now, because price is ugly, so we're going to leave it. AUD USD, you can see we're simply waiting for the breakout towards the upside or waiting for the breakout towards the downside. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. Yeah, not interested. USD JPY, same thing. I want to see a breakout towards the upside or the downside. Other than that, not really interested. No man's land, same thing. Nothing. We're having a strong push towards the downside. Y'all saw how I'm not going to get too much into detail, but we do have, I thought we had opportunities once price gotten towards this area. So what I saw, I'm gonna go quick, was I saw price was still in this bearish trend, right, due to the breakout of these recent lower lows. But as price formed the retracement, it looked like it wanted to have a breakout of these lower highs, couldn't do so, forming the rejection. And I zoomed out and I looked towards the left to see why we couldn't break through, and I found out that this is a well-respected zone, right? We have resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, multiple signs of rejection, right? Once price is either above or below, we can see the multiple signs of rejection. Price respects this area and it pushes the opposite direction, right? So price rejected. I saw hesitation towards the upside, which triggered me to look for sales. We had the 4 hour perform a beautiful bullish to bearish flip, while also performing the left head and right shoulder concept. Unfortunately, my 1 hour was out of sync with my 4 hour time frame. Oh, was it? Yeah, my 1 hour is bullish, which sucked. You can see the 1 hour is being bullish right here. I have my higher low, I have my higher high. Price never performed the breaker structure. We just missed this opportunity. It was a good opportunity, actually. Yeah, we missed the opportunity. So we had to switch. Price had the retracement on a 4 hour. The daily is bearish. We have the 4 hour being bearish now, but I want to see the 1 hour structure get used as support. Yeah, so we had the daily bearish, the 4 hour bearish at this daily zone. 4 hour performed the bullish to bearish flip. After that was established, the 1 hour had the breaker structure around here. I can draw it out. I be forgetting, y'all, not in my head. We had the breaker structure get performed around here on a 1 hour time frame. The last structure point that was broke was around here. You saw price get back up into the zone. Going towards the 5 minute, were we able to find a position? Oh, okay, this is why we didn't enter. So the 5 minute time frame, we're not going to worry about this because I wasn't looking at the charts then, but around here is when I was looking at the charts, and obviously we can see the 5 minute time frame in a bullish trend. Because of this strong bullish trend, in order for me to really be interested in the trade, I will have to see this structure point on the 5 minute time frame get broken. We can obviously see that got broken around here, which didn't really leave me with any type of entry confirmation or entry opportunities. I would love to get in at that entry zone, but down here is in no man's land, so I simply walked away. So this was a good trade setup. It did have everything forming. It just didn't perform the entry signal that we needed. So it is what it is. It was a good trade. We can obviously see it would have played out and price is still pushing, but as of right now I don't see opportunities. USD CHF, ugly. Same thing, waiting for the breakout, ugly. GBP CAD, waiting. There's not really too many opportunities. And then obviously Euro CAD, we're still trying to see if price wants to play out fully. We closed around here last week due to this area being a strong area of support on the 4-hour time frame. We are simply looking for a 1 to 2. So what I'm gonna do is drag this out towards our original targets, because I want to see if price would have been able to actually hit our overall target. So we'll do this. So yeah, let's see if that happens. But oh, I forgot. So we're gonna see if price does hit our overall take profit around there, because if that happens, which I do believe it will happen, this will be allowing the daily to perform the breakout of that support level to have the continuation towards the downside, which will possibly have the switcher structure on the daily time frame if price breaks this level at 154, 123. So 4-hour time frame still looks good to continue this downwards trend because of us being in a bearish trend still, right? We can see the continuation breakout happen here. Price is having a retest and possibly the continuation move back down towards the downside. We just have to wait and see. But besides that, nothing really happening where it comes to positions or entry possibilities. So Euro CAD I'm not really focusing on. GBP NZD is the #1 trade that we are interested in. One, due to price being in a bearish trend already. We are getting back underneath this zone. The 4-hour is also in sync with the daily time frame being in a bearish trend due to the breakout of these higher lows. We can obviously see the breakout structure occur right here. And now we have the 1-hour time frame having the retracement back towards its recent breakout structure. As long as price stays underneath this 1-hour lower high, we are good. So this price can easily tap back into, form the rejection, get back underneath the zone. We look for the retest on the 5-minute, find our entry, and continue to ride this trade towards the downside. Again, going with the flow of the market. So we will be looking for something like this. Looks really good. We simply just have to wait, see what price wants to do, and really go from there. So #1 pair, GBP NZD. Euro NZD, like we talked about, this is our #2, being a counter trend trade. We can see that the price overall in the daily time frame is bullish. We can draw out structure, so we can obviously see the break of these recent lower highs first being performed around here, breaking past the higher lows, getting us in a bearish trend. Price then had the switch back bullish due to the breakout of these lower highs. Now this being our structure point, you can see how price formed a beautiful bearish engulfing signal off of this area of resistance. Again, 191, 287 being a strong area of resistance, right? Price taps into, rejection falls. Taps into, rejection falls. Rejection falls, right? So it's repeating itself right now. We're going off of previous data. Everything is looking good. We're getting back underneath the structure point. 4-hour time frame, going from bullish to bearish. The only thing we have to wait and see is if price presents us with the breaker structure around here. If that happens, we simply walk away because I'm no longer in sync with the 4-hour time frame, which is what I wanted to see. So simply waiting on Euro NZD. Next, we had USD CAD, waiting on the daily time frame to see what it wants to do. Same thing with GBP USD, waiting on the daily time frame to see what it wants to do. So right now, GBP NZD is our #1. We are looking for opportunities come later tonight. Like always, stay patient, allow the trade to play out, allow the trade to develop, and we will go from there. I'm gonna catch y'all with updates later. Deuces.